Many times I'll use the Plug-in Alliance Drum Xchanger. Let's say I've got a certain snare and I just want it to have a really hard hit all the time. And I'll play with the dynamics later, but I just want to get a nice hard trigger to mix in with a snare. So you do this in Audio Suite. You open up, you have to have Plug-in Alliance, obviously. Drum Xchanger, you find it in Audio Suite, load it in. You'll have to learn how to use all the parameters. I've got some things set up. The main thing is to remember when you load in your snare, make sure it's on all wet, so that, because we're triggering off a snare that we don't want to keep. We have the original snares on another track, and we're going to trigger off of our trigger track. And I usually, when I do these snares, I usually do them in stereo. I'll have a stereo trigger set up for that, so that if I'm going to use room on these sounds, it'll be a nice stereo spread in it. If I just wanted to use a mono sound, I would use a mono trigger and just get a mono snare. I mean, you can go any way you want. So the beautiful thing about our package is that we include a whole catalog of one-shots. And so long as they're in some folder on your computer, you can find them inside of Plug-in Alliance where you locate the samples. So we just double-click on this area right here, and I have them in a folder, John's drum folder, and it says New Yosh Nashville Drums, although it won't say that in yours. It'll say Yosh's Warehouse or something like that. Anyways, so I'll go and find it. I've been thinking about this walnut maple snare that I think would sound good on the song. So I'm going to go into walnut maple snare, and I want to use the one with the rim. It's a rim shot. He's actually hitting the center of the snare and the rim at the same time. And I will go in here, and it says one shot, and it has all these different versions of the snare drum with the room mixed in. And there's hard hits, soft hits, and everything in between, basically. But I'm going to use one hard hit, which would be hard number 5. All right, that's probably the loudest snare. I'll highlight the track, and we'll render it. This takes time. And then we'll check it with the other snares that we have in there. And it's a nice little ambience and a little more low end. And I'll decide later on whether it works inside this song or not. It may work, it may not. But that's just one way of doing it. You can use the SPL Drum Xchanger to render nice hard hits for your snare. And if you have any unusual drum pickups, you may have to go in and actually do volume automation to match the dynamics of the drummer. In this particular song, he's really not doing anything like that, so it's pretty simple. And you can get all these samples, all these one-shots at gospelproducers.com.